Arvind Kejriwal does not get any respite. He's hired the best legal resources in the country, but the fact of the matter is that the law applies to everyone. Citing how old the law is not necessarily going to work in this case because it is still applicable.
You know, Vineet, I kept saying it over and over again that the ED and a lot of the Congress and the AAP spokespersons on various shows have been talking about ED being misused, ED being a puppet. You see, ED's job is to do investigations and to build a case. It is the court that decides whether there is veracity in the evidence that has been produced in front of court, in this case, with regards to the bail, and that is why he's not being granted that. So obviously there is enough of material, investigative material that allows for the court to believe that beyond reasonable doubt this man needs to be further interrogated. And right now he is in custody, he is in jail for course of the investigation. How the investigation pans out is very important for us to be able to stitch every aspect of what the investigations that ED is doing and even CBI and other authorities are doing. Now, if you look at what happened in Goa, which is what I said before, you had 12 crores that came from Ashok Chandu of Ashil Corporation. You have 7.1 crore that came from Devang Solanki from KS Enterprises. You had 16 crore that came from Kinti Ambalal. You had 7.5 crore from Neelkant and 2 crore from Mahambe. These are details with the ED. So there is money that has come in, 45 crores through Hawala operators in Goa, and that money was used for Goa elections by the Aam Aadmi Party. And the Aam Aadmi Party got 2 people elected, and I'm saying it over and over again that cash was paid in order to ensure that they get some sort of traction as far as elections are concerned. And that is the problem. The problem with Aam Aadmi Party is that they came as angels of lights as far as dealing with corruption. But today they are the face of corruption. And Arvind Kejriwal deserves to be in jail because he is the kingpin of this particular liquor scam and other scams as well. You will see that the Delhi Jal scam also will have exactly similar patterns because this man and his team think that they are smarter than everybody else, but they are actually crooks. They are not sheep, they are wolves in sheep clothing.
Mr. Pant, Arvind Kejriwal is going to be in Tihar jail for a longer period of time. This is obviously a big flashpoint when it comes to their political future as well. He is, after all, the convener as well as the Chief Minister of Delhi. How do you see this situation panning out for the Aam Aadmi Party in context to the upcoming Lok Sabha elections?
Well, Vineet, I think they will have difficulty, that it's true that, they will project as the sympathy and more sympathy will grow for Arvind Kejriwal. But you see, after a certain point, it starts diminishing. And when High Court denies bail, it means there is something, and it says that there are enough evidence to deny the bail. It means that something is wrong. And that message also goes very fast, So I think it can be both ways. Immediately they might gain something as far as Delhi is concerned, campaigning, because Sanjay Singh is now out, and he the moment he was released, he started a fierce campaigning for the Aam Aadmi Party and for Arvind Kejriwal. So they might gain some sympathy vote. That's true, because if Arvind Kejriwal remains behind the bars, so they are going to have sympathy vote there. But as far as functioning is concerned, certainly the party will get affected because he was a star campaigner. Arvind Kejriwal was a star campaigner of the party. So their campaigning will also be affected if he is behind the bars. So I think a little bit of sympathy will be there, and they might gain, particularly in Delhi, because Delhi is their stronger area. Delhi, they have been ruling for the last 15 years. So that benefit will accrue to them. But certainly there has been a demolition I would say, of his image. As Xavier was saying, if you remember in 2011 when they came with an alternative politics, claiming to do alternative politics and doing a clean politics, now that has been completely shattered. And we didn't have much hope from Aam Aadmi Party, because Aam Aadmi Party, in a way, if you look at the series of events and the start of their birth, they were backed up by Bharatiya Janata Party, so they are called the B team of the Bharatiya Janata Party. So in a way, I think Arvind Kejriwal remaining behind the bars, in a way, will help Aam Aadmi Party, and that will lead to diminishing of votes for the Congress Party, where both are fighting each other.
Mr. Nikam, you concur with what Mr. Pant is saying, that this is likely to help the Aam Aadmi Party? Let's not forget that this is a party which was born out of an Andolan. Ideologically, the Aam Aadmi Party has been often criticized for not having one, or in fact straying away from the ideology that it was born with. If Arvind Kejriwal was still camping with Anna Hazare outside of the Ramlila Maidan, he would have accepted jail term much more gladly than he has been able to embrace it as the Chief Minister of Delhi.
Vineet, in fact, what Anna Hazare said on his arrest, Jaisi karni, vaisi bharni. So as you sow, you shall reap. So that is what exactly is happening. He used Mr. Anna Hazare to achieve his political ambitions, but never stuck to those principles. And that is what we have seen. Now the battle is between the court and Arvind Kejriwal. The court has rightly pointed out this is not between Kejriwal and central government. This is between court and the ED and Mr. Arvind Kejriwal. And it is the courts which is denying him whatever little sympathy he got initially, may have gotten initially or not. But the fact remains, courts have seen the material, they have seen the evidence, have come to a conclusion. So people of this country are not, fools. They are smart voters. They are saying that one after the other, it is being rejected, and the court is saying, after looking at the material, that he is the key conspirator and the kingpin. And the money was taken as a bribe in the liquor scam and has been used in the election fund as an election fund and campaign. It's a clear case of money laundering. I don't think any sympathy will come across to him. You may think it may have been in the initial, first day, second day, but now the courts have, you've gone to the courts are giving verdicts, and they find you prima facie guilty. And the fact remains that under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, it's a very strict act because it affects the society at large. It came on account of the United Nations resolution, and therefore, today, under the PMLA, he is guilty till proven innocent. The watertight case that the ED is building, it's going to become very hard because onus lies on Mr. Kejriwal to prove that he is innocent. It's a new jurisprudence because of the challenges the criminals were posing to the existing, jurisprudence. Therefore, new system came in number of countries, including France, from where it originated. And therefore, it has become very difficult for Mr. Kejriwal. He thought it very clear that you can destroy some evidence. Hundreds of laptops and phones were destroyed so that they can't. But somehow the ED has been able to assiduously and with great pain has been able to collect evidence. Yes, they'll collect more evidence and finally file a charge sheet. Even Supreme Court in Manish Sisodia's case confirmed that there is a money trail. So it's. I think he's gone in for a long time, and anybody who's trying to create sympathy for an accused person who is accused of a very serious crime under the PMLA, I think we should not be taking sides with such a person and saying that there should be sympathy. Law, is said to be blind. They have the goddess of justice as a blindfold. They don't look at the face of a person. They look at the evidence, the material on record. And therefore, whether you are CM, minister or not, you will be treated like a common citizen. If common citizen had done an armed Nagrik would have done such kind of a crime, he would have been similarly put behind bars. So no preferential treatment can be given to Mr. Arvind Kejriwal just because he is the CM. The crime committed by a common person and the chief minister or a MLA or MP is the same. The courts look at the crime, the intention, the proceeds under the PMLA, and the intention of committing a crime. So all these things taken together poses a very serious question. should we be sympathizing or empathizing with such a person who has blatantly, committed a crime? And why I'm saying committed a crime? Because under the PMLA, he's guilty till proven innocent.
Okay. Savio, your reaction to the same question. Is the Aam Aadmi Party going to spin this arrest as injustice, as political vendetta, as targeted to garner votes? We all know what the Aam Aadmi Party came out of, what their agenda was when they were formed. They wanted to wipe out corruption, they wanted to clean up the system, they wanted to portray the politician of those days as basically unreliable, cannot be trusted. Is this a new peg that the Aam Aadmi Party is going to get? Is this a new lease of life that will help him? Or do you think this is perhaps the last straw on the camel's back?
Vineet, I was one of the supporters of the India Against Corruption movement, and I thought, and I still believe, that there is an imminent need for the civil society to wake up to corrupt practices that are happening across the country at the lowest levels, and sometimes going up to the mid-management levels and even higher levels. And for that movement was aspirational, that movement was encouraging, and an inspiration to many people in India who wanted to stand up against corruption and fight it collectively as society. But the changing dynamics of the India Against Corruption, when it became a political party, the leader himself, Arvind Kejriwal, at that point of time, spoke about not wanting to get into politics, swearing on the heads of his children that I will never get into politics, I will never do this, I will never do that. He's turned out to be a habitual and compulsive liar in everything that he has said and everything that he has done. In fact, the man, like I said earlier, the man was the face of anti-corruption, who roams around acting like he's a common man. Is not a common man. A common man does not live in a huge bungalow that he's made only for himself because he became the Delhi chief minister. That's not the way a common man lives. Common man is not somebody who spokesperson come and say on television that why have you arrested him? That's not a common man. If a common man was under the PMLA investigations, he would have faced the same arrest. And he was arrested because he evaded the summons of the Enforcement Directorate for 9 times. So this is a man who has lied to the people of India, who has lied to the people across the world, who is seemingly getting support from foreign nations. He is an anarchist. I'm saying this over and over again. He is a foreign plant and he is working against the interests of India. It is just that our democracy allows
In fact, Savio, the court also observed that had Mr. Arvind Kejriwal honored the summons the first time around, the expedition of this case would have reached some mileage by now. In fact, he's delayed this entire procedure by taking it to a different tangent.
See, he's taking it to a level where he's assuming to get sympathy, because that's all they ever did. They only worked on emotions and sympathy. The point is that today, people in India, some will continue to be blinded to the truth and some will open their eyes and see. You know what was the only peg of their campaign? Look at the opposition, whether it's Congress or the Aam Aadmi Party. That ED is working against the opposition leaders. ED is working against the opposition leaders. Use a little bit of common sense. ED is an investigative authority. Their job is to investigate. Their job is to detain, to arrest. But justice lies in court, and the court cannot be.
Let's see what Mr. Pant feels about this. Mr. Pant, the ED is just doing its job. It's an agency. It's an autonomous, independent agency. It does not succumb to the whims and fancies of political ideologies or political tensions.
Of course, it does not. But what we have been seeing is that these agencies, they are being misused by the governments who are in power. You know, earlier also CBI was earned the bad name, like what Supreme Court had said. We all know about it. A parrot inside the pigeon.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.